Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking with myself and a very special guest today. We've got Petra Novikova from Koruna Assist on the line. How are you, Petra?
Hey, I'm very good. How you going?
I'm good. I think this is the first time I've chatted to you with your new virtual background. Looks really cool.
I know, I know. Like, I love when someone sends me a different link and it's not on Zoom, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, you don't have the background set up and
Yeah.
everything. So I guess quite funny.
Yeah, because on the other one I've got another background set up, which is like the background in Melbourne, whereas otherwise now it's just a blurred background because I don't want you to see my messy room. But that's another thing altogether.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. So no, but and joking around, thank you for taking time to chat to me today. I think it's a very timely chat because number one, we're starting to look at the first half of the year is going to be approaching us, and for some people, I guess it's more of they should be planning ahead. I mean, usually people plan, near the end of the year, the beginning of the year, but some people also plan at the middle of the year in terms of what they're doing because obviously tax time's coming and so forth. So then they look at their, I suppose their expenses and their processes and whether is going well or not, right? So I call you the outsourcing queen, and I think we had a chat a couple of days ago, and you mentioned that you were actually going to go overseas for a couple of months.
Absolutely. I think yeah, I'm going for 3.5 months.
Hmm.
Because I'm from Czech Republic and it's very important for me to go back home. And that was basically my why I started the business. So there were two things. One, because I'm from overseas, so to be able to go to see my family whenever I want to. And the second, obviously, I wanted to become a mum. So I wanted to be the mum, but still run the business at the same time. So my why was very straightforward. I knew exactly what I'm trying to achieve in the business, and that's why I was able to actually achieve that. So I think as long as you understand where you're going, it's a lot easier to get there, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a an article that was done by yourself anyway about a month ago, and the topic on that was actually knowing which tasks to delegate.
Mhm.
Right? So, and I think that's important in a sense where you probably wouldn't be able to do what you're doing,
Mhm.
which is technically going away for a couple of months without actually delegating. I suppose I'd call it lower time frame or use of your time basically to someone else.
Mhm.
So, if you can sort of walk me through because you're not the only one I've seen on Finance and Coffee doing this. I've seen Craig Ward, who's going to be going around Africa for a couple of months as well, and I've seen a few posts about people going to Bali, right? And it's great that you can do that, and there's a lot of other people who say they wish they can do that, but
Mhm.
what were the sort of first steps do you think that someone needs to think about
Mhm.
in order to that to happen? I mean, you're not just going to jump on the plane because you just decide to do it, right? You had this planned out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so passionate talking about this because
Mm.
I know it's possible, and I see so many people, especially in a finance industry, they still got that old mindset that they've got to be in the same spot and to be able to do the job and to be able to run the business. But the whole economy is changing. We're going from the job economy to the gig economy, where it no longer matters where you are based because we're so connected with the technology and all the applications and all the artificial intelligence that we can really do the job from anywhere in the world. So in terms of the step, I wouldn't even think about it like what are the things I can outsource and stuff like that. I think it's more about understanding who you want to be in a business. Like, what do you want to get out of the business? Because at the end of the day, the business is just a vehicle to get you to your dream life, right? So there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. Like, obviously, a lot of people prefer to work 9 to 5, which is totally fine as well. But if we're talking about business owners, the first thing you need to figure out what is your zone of genius. Yeah, why are you in a business? And as I said at the start, like my vision was to be able to travel to Czech Republic for 3 months a year and to be able to be a full-time mom and run the business at the same time. So I really had to take these steps to be able to do that. So the first thing is work out what do you want, where do you sit in the business, and what are the things that you want to be doing in a business. So, and then you can kind of work out, okay, well, what are the systems and processes that I've got to have in place, and who I need, around me to be able to do that. So those are probably those three main steps to overcome that kind of thing. But I think the main issue is obviously the mindset. And as I said, like, because we're going from one stage to the other, going from the job economy, where what's the most important in job economy is, I want to be making so much money so I can buy so many things. But in gig economy, it's completely changing the mindset of people. It's more about, I want to be earning money because I want to be doing all these cool things in my life, right? The definition of wealth has completely changed from I've got 5 cars in my garage to I've been to 5 different countries in the past 5 months. Like that's the wealth, right? So it's changing, and we need to take advantage of that as well. So the whole world is adapting to this mindset and to this economy as well.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I actually had a conversation with a dear friend of mine yesterday, actually, and he was saying, when you're older and you look back at your life and you go, well, what are the things you remember the most that made you happy? You don't actually tend to remember about the cars that you buy. You remember about the experiences and the places you've been. So that resonates very well, actually.
Yeah, I think it's, well, if you're buying stuff, if we're buying expensive cars, expensive handbags, whatever that might be, it's very short-term pleasure. So if you're looking into how am I going to set up my life, so I don't always feel like I want to go on a holiday, or like I'm actually happy how I feel in my life, it's a lot more important these days than how much money is sitting in my bank account.
So we see a lot of conversations in the group about people wanting that. We know people want that. We also see conversations about people going, well, I think they have an unrealistic expectations on how fast they can bring someone aboard into their business, right? So with what you're doing and then what they're wanting to do as well, I guess the mindset will be what is the expectation that someone can actually slip into your business to do your things well? I mean, it's definitely not tomorrow and it's definitely not a week, right? So you've had to plan this out, obviously, over a number of months before you can actually go, hey, I can take off, I can relax, and you can spending time with your little one, right?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a few things. So first thing is systems and processes. You have to have systems and processes in the place in order for you to go on that trip or have the actually team running and doing the business the way you want them to be doing. So systems and processes is number one. And of course, having that right person to fit into that role. So one person is obviously not going to be able to do all the roles in the business. So from social media to being your PA to being a loan processor, like there's so many tasks that we need to be realistic in terms of the expectations in the skill sets as well. But in terms of the timeframes, if you find the right person, majority of these, when they start working with clients, their experience is in a similar role. So it would be in a back office, it would be in like any kind of support role, in admin and stuff like that. And then they're supported by the team leader and the SME, which is the subject matter expert. So how that works is that, yes, when the VA starts working for you, they are a little bit green, but they've got a team behind them who can support them. So in a way that if they start working for you and they have any questions or they need any additional training, they can always go back to the team leader and they can always go back to SME that can help them. It's not just you. However, you still need to put that time and energy into that VA, mainly because you want to build that relationship with them. You need to be able to trust the person before you go away. You need to be able to trust them to do anything in your business. So it's very important to build that relationship and the trust with anyone. It doesn't need to be a VA. It's like with any other employees.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because that's the thing, isn't it? If you're going to hire someone here, you're going to have to do that anyway. So I think it's disingenuous for people to expect that, I want to save money, so I want to hire someone cheaply, but then I expect, a massively more person that can just run, in your business, which is an impossibility, and it's actually going to give a bad taste in your own mouth, really, right?
Yeah, definitely not going to have that relationship. But if you have the right processes in place, you've got the right checklist, you give that time to the VA to explain what you want them to do. It shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 months before they actually up to speed and they can support you.
Yeah, and the other thing is obviously because you're there to help them get integrated into the broker's own business too, right? Which is the other thing which I think a few people don't understand.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. So going back to obviously, yourself and your awesome trip that's coming in, I kind of hate you for it, because it's winter in Melbourne. So it's winter in Melbourne's probably one of the ugliest times in the year, right? So I'm mess and you're going into basically summer over there, right?
I'm escaping the winter. I said to myself, I'm always going to be chasing the sun. I lived in Asia for a couple of years. I
Mm,
loved it. Like, I don't really need winter. I can just come back, go
yep.
to the snow, go skiing, and then just come back to nice and warm winter. Oh, warm weather.
Yeah. So we see obviously a few people post, hey, this is my office for the day, and they're sitting by the pool or sitting by the beach. And then in your case, you'll be in Europe somewhere. So um, is it hard for people to let go? I mean, obviously people can, but there are some who just can't, right? So is it hard? Is there a lot of equipment you have to lug with you, or is it just your laptop? Is that all you're taking with you?
Absolutely just laptop. You need to figure out like what is the process of the whole client's journey and how you run the business and see what are the things that you have to do, just you, no one else can do. I guarantee it's not going to be more than an hour, 2 hours a day. It won't be more than that. And from 1 hour to 2 hours a
Mm.
day, you most likely don't even need to work in real time. So you can be doing it when there's night in Australia, like you don't really need to be working when your team is there as well. So again, it goes back to what are the tasks that you need to be doing, let go of the ones that you don't need to, and then get someone who can do them for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's I mean, obviously COVID's changed the way we work and this is just supercharged and it's made all these things, pretty cool and you're able to do it, right? Because I look at my own dad, I might have may have told you a story or not, but I've seen them work, 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 and they just didn't have the time to actually enjoy and live life, right? And this is what we're supposed to do. I mean, as business owners, what is your goal? Which from at the beginning of the conversation, what's your why? Is it
Mm.
making money? Making money is not. You're not going to take it with you when you die, right?
That's
So
exactly right. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think if you're looking into the how we actually run the business, whether that's mortgage broking or any other businesses, because we're transitioning from the two different economies. So we're going from that job economy where the most important thing is the what education you have, what qualifications you have. But when we move into the gig economy, it's more about what experience do you have? What can you deliver to my business? Do you have
Mm,
the expertise to do that? So it's changing also that kind of aspect in a business. It's a lot easier to hire contractors for every part of your business. Like in today's world, you can probably outsource everything. Yeah, you can
mm,
outsource you being in that business and you can go on Bahamas for 12 months a year.
yeah.
Right? It's a lot easier than what it was before. So
Mm.
it is all about just letting go and understanding how you can run it smart, how you can run the business.
So with regards to that, because you literally can outsource every aspect of your business to someone somewhere in the world, right? We've had obviously this year in the media lots of big businesses having data breaches.
Uh-huh.
Um, what have you got? Have you got any advice for someone that is thinking of doing it, but then potentially that's on the back of their mind? Is there some software? Is there things that they need to take to play, like cyber insurance and so forth? What will help them basically, I suppose, let go? Because there's one, the mindset is this, I'm gonna let go, I'm gonna have this stuff here, but then there's always something that's gonna go, oh, should I not?
Yeah. I think the number one is if you're going through outsourcing specialist, outsourcing company, look for ISO certification because
Hmm.
the ISO guarantees that the company's got all the cybersecurity policies and insurances in place. They've got a private and they've got all the tools and systems in place in terms of management, everything, cybersecurity, everything in place in order to maintain the ISO. So number one is definitely ISO. The second one is, I think, because we are in mortgage broking industry, usually you need to get an approval from your aggregator, and the aggregator wouldn't allow you to have a VA from someone who is not secure. So they
Hmm.
go through the ISO, they go through the insurance covers and all of that. So they usually do it for you. That's where I see a little bit of I see brokers outsourcing just directly and getting a VA, but they don't have that security. So I think there's a huge risk of getting hacked or getting your data stolen and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've seen a few stories like that too. Because they engage a VA, and then they decide to engage someone directly, thinking it's cheaper.
Yeah,
Um, at the end of the day, it potentially is cheaper, but what we're trying to do is best practice, which is basically saying, hey, it's not about running your business for 1 week, for 1 month. It's actually so that you don't actually lose your license, right? So if you're
yeah,
not doing it right, you could lose your license the next day without you actually knowing what to do, and you can kiss your Europe trip goodbye, basically.
absolutely. You can get in big troubles because I don't think even the insurance would cover you.
Mm,
Um, the number two advice I would give, go like if you are based in Australia, hire Australian company, because then you can deal with different issues differently. Like if you get someone from the Philippines, you're probably not going to fly to the Philippines to sort out the issue. Like
mm.
it's different. So being in Australia, I would hire Australian company, of course.
Yeah. But is there any other sort of software someone should basically get on their computer when they're traveling overseas?
So first one, I use LastPass. So LastPass allow you to share all of your passwords without the second person not seeing any of the passwords. So it's the same as when you log into I don't know, your online banking, and then the
Mm.
password and the ID is already pre-populated. That's exactly how LastPass work as well. So no one's actually holding your passwords. The other one is Time Doctor. I love Time Doctor because it's taking screenshots of the person what they're actually doing on the computer, so you can always see what they're doing. And
Ooh.
also you can see all the website they visited, how long they spend on the website, how long they spend
Yep.
on task. Pretty much it analyzes the whole work and everything they do. So even
Mm,
if you don't have wouldn't say don't have a VA from outsourcing company, but like if you have someone onshore in Australia, it's
mm.
still good to understand what is your team doing, not to spy on them, but more to understand, okay, what is the capacity? Are they overloaded? Do I need to do anything else? Because you're not going to be in an office with them on day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because at the end of the day, let's face it, when you're a business owner, you're accountable to yourself. And when you're paying someone to do a task for you, you expect them to do that task, right? Not hang out and watch YouTube all day. So
Yeah, we're going back to the trust now.
going back to the trust, I mean, at the end of the day, you always have to give someone the benefit of the doubt. But then when the doubt does come up, then that's it's provable, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on both sides. But that said, it's just you as a business owner, it's like you need all this as much help as you can get to run your business effectively. You're not gonna know about it unless someone tells you that, hey, there is this product that you could use.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just becoming so much easier and easier with all the technology out there. So
Mm,
even like us talking, we've got 5 different platforms we can talk to and have a video call and record the session, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Same way it works for anything else. So it's just easier. The whole world is connected these days, and that just allows you to obviously to work from anywhere and to do whatever you want to do as long as you make that decision.
Yeah. So this is a silly question as well, as an aside, right? Do you think this whole work anywhere concept, do you think it's an age thing as well? Because the boomers probably won't do it. I'm a Gen X, so I'm pretty old already, and I kind of love it, but I'm also very afraid to do it. And I think that's the majority of the average age for a broker is around about 45, I think, right?
Mhm.
And we're the type of people that we saw the internet be born. So we're both excited about it, but at the same time, we're both frightened about it.
Yeah,
Whereas someone that's in their 20s right now, they're embracing things left, right, and center. AI, they're welcoming that, right? Whereas someone my age is, we're scared of that stuff. Potentially, are things safe? Do you see that amongst your clientele as well? Or
absolutely. I think different people need different things. So it doesn't matter really if you want to stay and work in your business or you want to be traveling the world. It always comes down to your why and what you want to get out of the business. So it's totally fine if you want to be in the office Monday to Friday, if that suits you, it's obviously that suits you. But I love the fact that there's so many opportunities that you can choose from. So if you don't like A, you can go for B, or you can go for C, whatever that is. So everyone can find the right way to run the business. I think that what I see is a lot of clients that I talk to, they've got the problem that they are the business. They don't run their own businesses, and they're not the business owner. And I think that's where the huge difference is, because if you are the business, well, you can't take a holiday. Yeah, you can't go away because the business is based on you. You need to set up a business that's outside of yourself with systems, processes, and people, and that's going to give you the ultimate freedom. So those two are the most important. It doesn't really matter where you do the job. It's more about how you set up the business.
So for someone that's watching this video and actually thinking now, shit, I probably need to talk to you, would the first step be let's have a chat and let's work out the why first before you then partner up with someone that then can actually look after that portion, or how's it going? And do you actually turn people away going, hey, maybe you don't have a realistic understanding of what we offer, and maybe come back later on when we do?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is to schedule the discovery call. The discovery call is there to understand of what are you trying to achieve? What do you want to do in a business? Who do you want to be? And work out, okay, what are the things that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy and money on, and work out the perfect job description for the support person. And then you can take that away and go somewhere else, or you can just come back to us and say, yes, I want this person. I need exactly this role to be filled into my business. And then we can find the right person for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you'll be able to find the link in the video attached as well as the article attached. Yeah. So is there any other things that we should know about or consider before we take that week off, that 2 weeks off, or even like yourself, 3 weeks off, and go and sit somewhere by the pool or the beach, or in the snow? Because some people love the snow. They follow the winter. I don't know why.
I would probably say first test it out. Yeah, go have 2 days off and come back to the business and see what's not working before you take the long trip, if you go for a couple of months, or however long you want to go. But test it out. Ask your team for the feedback, like would they feel like it was too hard to work out without you in the business, and then fix it. So I think it's very beneficial for the business itself for you to take the time off and go away, not being it, because you can see what's not working properly, what's not working really well, what broken that needs to be fixed. And the feedback from the team is the most important thing, because they're there obviously to do the day-to-day job. So listening to that feedback and doing the implementation of that is super important. So test it out, see how it goes, and then you can take a half year off.
That would be amazing if I could take a half year off that. Yeah.
Well, I'll teach you how to do it.
Excellent. So I'm also attaching a link to this little video as well for a story of regards to mental health as well, because I think for our viewers out there, you might want to have a look at it. Well, you're going to say, well, what's the connection? Well, the connection was this person had let's put it this way, that they were not coping by themselves when they thought that, as we were mentioning, they were their business. They just couldn't understand leaving it, taking it back, and that it became massive stress, right? And it could have been a very bad story, but the outcome was really good because they understood, they got help, and right now they only work 2 to 3 days a week in their business, and they know that their business can still run. Okay,
Yeah.
so but it's whether you guys watching this go to Petra or not is irrelevant. It's just there's a good ecosystem that can assist you here, and I guess we need to remember why we're self-employed. We're self-employed because we don't want our bosses. We are the boss, unfortunately, and because we are the boss, we can't do everything. Okay, but so. But anyway, Petra, thank you so much for taking time to chat to us today. And I'm hoping the next time we can chat, you'll be in the Czech Republic or somewhere in Europe, and this is cool because we can still do this.
Absolutely. I'm always keen. I always enjoy this chat. So thank you so much for having me.
No worries, thank you.
Thanks.